so they heard everything we said. Yep.
The opening statement, this is a 3-minute response, please. Please introduce yourself. We'll start with Sheriff Sowell. Introduce yourself. Tell us what it means to you to be the next elected sheriff of Grimes County. Why should you be elected as our next sheriff? And what makes you the best candidate for the position?
Welcome here to everybody. Thank you for coming. I'm Don Sowell. I'm your current sheriff. I've served since 1998, and I feel like it's been quite an honor to serve this county, my home county. I'm born in Huntsville, but raised here in Grimes County, class of '69 at Navasota. Moved back in '86. And the opportunity came up, and was able to become your sheriff. And the day I became sheriff, I said, "Oh my goodness, what do I do now?" It was, but I found real quickly, serving the people, being a neighbor, being a person that they can come to and talk to, walk them through certain problems. You can't always go by the book. You got to use common sense, a little bit of gray area in the middle. Laws are written in black ink on white paper, but you got to use that gray area. You got to be a neighbor. You got to be and some people, I like to talk to people out of jail versus put them in jail. I believe in rehabilitation, and a lot of our people here have got problems, mental problems. Might not be a criminal. So I think being the sheriff, you can do a lot of things like that. You serve with compassion and firmness. You have to use a little tough love sometimes. That does not make everybody happy. I want you to understand that. Believe me. But as long as you treat people fairly, I think that's what they appreciate. I think appreciation of the person they know that they can come to and get a little bit of common sense support and love without being compromised by going to jail. And I again say that I'll try to talk a lot of people out of jail and do something else, and many times I've been successful on that. Some of these people I know in the county that have been rehabilitated and come back have done well, and they make me very proud. They become successful citizens. As my goals in the future, I want to continue what we're doing, and certainly never lose the part of your heart that you do this job from the heart to serve your people. I want to continue doing that. Our country, our state, our region, our counties got a lot of problems. There's problems all over the world, but we're going to continue to work together to make them as painless as possible. As painless as possible. Thank you very much.
Mr. Donnelly, you'll be next. Same question, or I can repeat that if you need.
Just want to know about myself.
And what it means to you to be the next elected sheriff of Grimes County. Why should you be elected as next sheriff, and what makes you the best candidate?
Roger that. I'm Michael Donnelly. A lot of people have asked who I am. I'm not a hometown boy. Moved here about 15 years ago from Montgomery County. First pinned a badge on 1977. I'm married to a wonderful woman who's sitting in the back, almost 35 years now. Have 2 wonderful daughters. One works at BEPCO in town. The other one's chief prosecutor in Galveston. We're pretty much, my wife's a lawyer also. We're pretty much into the law. Like I said, I pinned on a badge in 1977. I've taken a few breaks. Went to Vietnam in 1969. I went to Iraq in 2006. Some of you might have seen me in the paper or on the news. I was an old guy going back to war, going back in the military. I'd been involved in a serious car accident, rehabilitated, went back in the military, got hurt again in Iraq, rehabilitated, pinned a badge back on. Currently, I carry my commission at Todd Mission. I hold all the certificates that TCOLE has to offer. I've been as far up as acting chief of police in Montgomery County, at a town in Montgomery County. Master peace officer, like both the opponents here. What else? I have a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice. I'm just 6 hours short of my master's in clinical psychology. I've counseled attempted suicide victims, military, of course, including some from my unit who came back from Iraq and wanted to kill themselves, to put it quite bluntly. I also believe in a little bit of a gray area. Police officers have the ability to use discretion, but I'm also about putting somebody in jail that needs to go to jail. Right now, every law enforcement agency in the United States is short on officers. I have combat MPs who are also garrison trained, which would be like city policemen, who are willing to come to work if I'm elected. They want to work for me again. I was a leader in the battlefield. I led troops in the battlefield, both in Vietnam and Iraq, and these same people want to come to work for me again. So I can bring the staff back up to par where it needs to be. We can get calls out answered in a reasonable time. In fact, I'm the type of person that will be in a patrol car in uniform working alongside my people. So you might even get me answering your call for help. There's not much else I could say. I own a small ranch here, so I am a member of the community. I try to spend all my money in this community. And that's about it for me.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Rawls, same question, sir.
We got to keep. Hello, everybody. I'm Travis Rawls. I'm running for Grimes County Sheriff March 5th, 2024. I just want to let you know that I'm a Christian conservative Republican. My background is in 32 years of law enforcement experience. I've worked in booking, the jail, releasing, mounted patrol, street patrol, crime scene investigations, and I'm currently assigned to the Waller County Livestock and Animal Control Division. As your next sheriff, I look forward to bringing a proactive approach to law enforcement at the sheriff's office. I look forward to attempting to reduce crime, addressing our patrol staffing shortages, and make Grimes County a safer place for everyone. I look forward to being the frontline leader for both our community and the sheriff's office.
Thank you, sir. We'll start the next one with Mr. Donnelly.
Never mind.
These will be 2-minute responses, please. What qualifies you to be Sheriff of Grimes County? What experience do you bring to the office, and where did you gain the experience?
Well, as I said before, I first been to badge on in 1977 with the Harris County Sheriff's Office. Worked in a few other different departments, took breaks, like I said, to go back in the military and go to war to try to protect this country. I spent about 12, 13 years as a military policeman. I spent about 15 years as a regular civilian police officer here in Texas. I've got about 4,600 hours in TCOL, CLEs, continuing legal education. I've worked in a civil law firm for 5.5 years, so I understand the law quite well. In fact, for Christmas, my daughter gave me this sentencing sheet from the capital murder trial she just tried and won. So that boy's going to prison, and she handled the kid in League City who shot his 2 friends. On Christmas Day, this is how dedicated this family is, she was actually typing out while eating Christmas dinner the arrest warrant to pick him up again. We believe in law enforcement. We're a law enforcement family, and I believe I can get out there and get the troops on the ground and get your calls answered in a timely manner in just minutes. So I have plans to put officers in every district, and they will stay in their districts, and we have the infrastructure to support them to stay in their district instead of being in one area and only one area and having to go whichever direction the calls is brought to them from. So people from the south won't be going north, people from the north won't be going south, and people in central will stay in central. That's what I have so far.
Mr. Rawls, you'll be next, sir. Same question.
Gentlemen, can y'all speak up, please? There's some requests in the back that y'all take a little bit louder.
Absolutely. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
I can do that again for you. What qualifies you to be sheriff of Grimes County? What experience do you bring to the office, and where did you gain the experience?
So my experience comes from, a majority of it comes from Harris County Sheriff's Office. I hired on in 1991 as a jailer. I stayed there about 8 years in the jail, working, tending to safety and security of the jail, tending to the inmates. I left there, I went to booking and releasing for about 6 or 7 years, where I got experience on the AFIS machine and with fingerprints and all the booking and releasing details that go into that. I was 25 years with Mounted Patrol, working on horseback, ensuring public safety at the rodeos and at schools and various other functions. I went to Street Patrol for about 6 or 7 years. I was involved in pursuits, tasings, filing all the charges that you could file, arresting drug dealers and drug users. After that, I transferred to crime scene for about my last 7 years of Harris County, where I was on homicide scenes collecting evidence, processing evidence, identifying fingerprints, collecting DNA. So I come from an investigator background as well. I have since transferred to livestock and animal control with Waller County, where I've continued to gain more experience. We do have an animal problem here in Grimes County that needs to be addressed. I look forward to taking on that challenge. I look forward to taking a more proactive approach, because we do have to have more bodies on the streets. I believe we can fill the open positions that we currently have open. We can better man our districts. We can have improved response times. And I look forward to being the next sheriff serving you and protecting you.
Thank you, sir. Sheriff Sowell, the same question to you, sir.
Thank you. I can't disagree with both of my opponents on their criticisms and constructive criticisms on what to do to improve things in Grimes County. It's a constant goal of getting more people, keeping more people, having a more competitive pay scale to retain people, recruit and retain people. But to begin with, I started my career in law enforcement in 1969 when I joined the Air Force, the United States Air Force, and I served in the security police career field. I served at Shepherd Air Force Base after Lackland, Beale Air Force Base, California, 18 months in Thailand, and last 18 months or so in Charleston, South Carolina. As soon as I got out of service, I joined the Harris County Sheriff's Office. 1 year in the jail. Jack heard the sheriff then said, "I don't care who your daddy is, who your daddy knows, you're going to work the jail 1 year, period." And he said, "That's the toughest beat on the planet. The toughest beat is working jail, prisons, or such as that." And he was wise about that. I learned a lot in dispatch. You also had to work dispatch. The rest of my tenure there, a little over 24 years, a little less than 24 years, was on patrol. And then when I worked patrol, I worked every facet you can think of. I worked special units, a hot spot for a little bit, and then somewhat of traffic enforcement, and just regular patrol where you see everything. I became sheriff in Grimes County, and try to bring some of my experience levels there, which I said earlier. First question, common sense, working with the people. And we have a limited amount of people here. We have a limited budget. I try to work within the budget. I try to be a good steward of your money that I'm given every year by the Commissioners Court. The Commissioners Court works well with me with what they have to work with. I've never had a complaint with them, but I would like to have more, but I learned to work within reason with what the commissioners are allowed to give me every year to work with. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Rawls, we'll begin with you on the next question. It will be a 2-minute response. Name the top 3 changes that you would make in the sheriff's office if elected, and expand on your top priority to change.
Well, as the next sheriff, I think we need a change in leadership, some at the top. I look forward to increasing the staffing to meet our current growth. I'd like to see increases in our drug and traffic enforcement as well. Could you repeat that question one more time?
Yes, sir. Name the top 3 changes you would make in the sheriff's office if elected, and expand on your top priority to change.
The other thing was to increase funding through grants. I believe there's multiple grants out there through the state, federal, and corporations that we can boost our funding, not just rely on commissioner court budgets. There's also the fact that when you start arresting drug dealers and shutting down the drug houses, you can start moving into better funding with the drug seizure funds and asset forfeitures. Those are the things that I would like to start doing as your next sheriff.
Thank you, sir. Pass it on down to Sheriff Sowell. Name the top 3 changes that you would make in the sheriff's office if elected, and expand on your top priority to change.
The drug traffic enforcement that you're talking about has been talked about by not only the candidates here, myself, and the citizens, is a priority. I understand that. But we have a large county, a lot of square miles, a lot of calls to answer in between traffic enforcement and other issues that you have to do every day. It is very difficult to do all these requests with TPS not here or here in a limited fashion. We work with the constables and other Navasota PD to do the traffic enforcement requests. It is really difficult to do that. Drugs problems are, as a country, problem here. We get that. We have a drug officer. We just hired under a little help from Senate Bill 22. Back in 2006, we lost our narcotics task forces around the state of Texas. That was a big hit for rural cities and counties. It's been tough. It's been tough. All that fell back on the deputies and investigators. I agree with my opponents. I understand that. What we have to work with is what we do our best to do with. It's unfortunate that I can't have deputies all over the county. I have a limited amount, and we try to spread them out with answering the calls in a timely manner. It takes a lot of work to take the report, respond, and be ready to go to the next call. Sometimes it is a priority with major accidents. Everybody has to posse up and go to that accident, waiting on DPS to come and take over, especially a fatal. It takes up your manpower. It decreases your response time. I get that. I'm very clear on that. We work together to try to make that as minimum as possible, but if grants are out there, I agree. We tried some of it. We don't have a grant writer, but we've got some we're working on. Grants are not always that easy to get. Some of them are difficult. It's just something it's a leadership problem that we have from all over the place to try to get grants. But many grants have a lot of strings attached to them. So we have to go with them with the positive manner. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Donnelly, that same question to you, sir.
Well, as far as the grants go, the Sheriff's Department does have a grant writer. I've talked to him a couple of times. He's just not writing grants right now. As far as the manpower, everything in law enforcement is trickled down. So without the people on the street, you can't do traffic enforcement. Some of the biggest busts I ever made were on traffic stops. It's amazing. Even if, I'm sure some of you have read in the paper, traffic stops have produced drugs. And from there, you need to be able to investigate that drug stop and lead it back to where the drugs came from. We have several major roadways in Grimes County. I mean, we could do good with some license plate readers, because you can only imagine how many stolen cars come through Grimes County. And in those stolen cars are thieves and drug dealers, or maybe even murderers. So everything has to work in succession. So we got to get more people on the street to do these stops, but we got to have enough to answer the calls. I mean, there was a call the other day for a suicide, and everybody, including Navasota PD, went to it. That's where a robot would have come in handy. And in Iraq, I worked with robots with EOD. I not only drove them, I fixed them. So I can go to the Army and ask for a Talon or a PackBot to answer a call like that. We have robots that you could throw through a window that do a 360 film. They could have done that. One person could throw that in a window, and you would have saw the body. It was a suicide. Didn't need every law enforcement official in the surrounding area to go to that one call in Singleton. That's got to change, and I'll change it.
Thank you, sir. Back to Sheriff Sowell. We'll begin with you on this one. A 1-minute response, sir. If elected, do you plan on replacing any leadership positions within the sheriff's office? And if so, why?
No. No.
All right, sir.
Didn't come through? Okay.
Yeah, gotcha. Mr. Donnelly, if elected, do you plan on replacing any leadership positions within the sheriff's office? And if so, why?
Well, first of all the recent promotions, if you want to call them that, were done by appointment. You did away with the promotion board. You do away with promotion boards, you end up with people in the lower ranks that have no incentive to move up. So they will leave the department and go somewhere else where they could further their careers. So yeah, I would make some changes. We would go back to promotion boards. There would be no appointments. Now, I think what people are alluding to is the upper, really top position. And every new sheriff usually changes that one anyways. But as far as the lower command staff, yes, we're going to go back to promotion boards. We're not going to go from deputy to lieutenant. You're going to go from deputy to sergeant, from sergeant to lieutenant or captain. So you're going to have to work on your skills, your job performance, and everything else if you're going to go to a leadership position. You're not just going to have it handed to you because they like you.
Thank you. Mr. Rawls, same question, sir.
Well, this is one time that I'm actually going to agree with Mike Donnelly right here. We have to start promoting from the bottom up. And that starts with deputies coming from patrol, being promoted to sergeants, sergeants then being promoted to lieutenant based on your merits and your skills and how eager you are to serve our citizens. And to the effect of the other question, that is a standard practice. When there's new leadership coming in, there will be changes at chief deputy and lieutenants possibly. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Donnelly will start the next one. These are a 1-minute response, please. What, in your opinion, is the #1 crime-related issue that needs an immediate plan of action from the next sheriff?
Unfortunately, lately, all the crime issues are prevalent. We need to get in and change all of them. But to do it, we've got to have staff. We've got to have people that have done this before. Like I said, I'm going to bring some of my MPs in. They're civilian police officers now, retired from the military, where they arrested people in combat zones. We arrested a bomb maker who actually attended MIT. But there had to be an investigation. We had to find him. We had to track him. We had to arrest him. These people are experienced. They know what they're doing. And it's not the money. They didn't join the military to get rich. Trust me. There's not that much money in the military. They do it because they love it and they want to help the citizens.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Rawls, this will go to you next. What, in your opinion, is the #1 crime-related issue that needs an immediate plan of action from the next sheriff?
Well, I believe it's all crime. Our crime is up. The crime rate went up a little over 30% already. I don't know if y'all saw the DPS crime stats that I looked at, but I think we had 76 thefts, and I think we only had a clearance rate of like 1.32. Well, I can tell you, if I was a contractor and I was building a fence and I only built 2% of that fence for you, wouldn't you think it's time for change? So I agree again that we need more bodies on the streets to handle all crimes. And I can tell you the funding issue, all that starts with bodies on patrol. Everything starts with patrol. And we have to expand that. in order to combat crime and make our county safe again.
Thank you, sir. Sheriff Sowell, the same question to you.
I'll agree, again, I'll agree with my opponents. I can't disagree with them. More people on the streets, competitive pay scales is also a very important issue. Again, all we can do seriously is work with what we have to work with. That means, I like things to be said in a common sense way. I put all badges in one hat. That means Navasota PD, that means the constables, that means DPS, that means game ward, that means our federal, state, local partners. But we have a lot of people moving up here. It's been said for years, growth is going to hit us. It's hit us. It's going to continue to get more and more. Traffic enforcement, I agree with the guys there. It's where you start the basics of it. But your special investigations is also another issue that you have to put your manpower to. You work with the district attorney, the clearance rate he's talking about. There's a lot. I could dispute some of the stats, those numbers or whatever. But what I look at is the numbers or good arrests we made, and a good district attorney prosecution, putting people in prison. That's another good thing. We have we have a tough DA here that is very adamant about putting people in prison. Lord have mercy. I wish I could wish in one hand and dream in another hand and get what I would love to have here. But we do the best we can with what we have to work. We work. I see some fire chief out here. We work with the fire departments in coalition to public safety. I mean, these guys help us on so many things. They also are eyes and ears to a lot of issues here. The male people are. We have a lot of co-op. It's called having a village or a team, your community people working with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rawls, we'll begin with you on the next question. It is a multi-part question, a 2-minute response, please. Do you believe that more deputies are needed on the streets? How do you intend on filling vacant positions or adding additional positions while working within the county budget? And how do you intend to compete with surrounding agencies?
So yes, I truly believe we have a need for more deputies. Now, how we go about adding that is through a change in leadership. And I'm telling you, people don't quit jobs, they quit leadership. You change leadership, I'm willing to bet that those open positions will get filled. And it won't cost the taxpayers any more money because they're already allotted. I believe we're short 3 or 4 deputies right now on the streets. Now then, as far as additional funding for that stuff, again, I'll remind you, when we use grants, if they're filed in a timely manner, we'll get the funding. They're out there. Also, again, I'll remind you, this is a perpetual cycle, and we have to start. If we never take the first step and start making drug seizures and asset forfeiture funding by working with our district attorney's office, it's going to be tough. But I can tell you this, as your next sheriff, I will be sure that your tax dollars are allocated in the appropriate areas. And that will create a better environment where law enforcement wants to come work in this county and serve you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This will go down to Sheriff Sowell. Do you believe that more deputies are needed on the streets? How do you intend on filling vacant positions or adding additional positions while working within the county budget? And how do you intend to compete with surrounding agencies?
At this time, there's absolutely a need for more deputies on the street. As I said earlier, I work within the budget that I get bequeathed to me every year by the Commissioners Court. They have other things to fund besides the law enforcement, and they have been very good about supporting law enforcement's needs. And I get that. I understand. I appreciate what these guys and ladies do up there. But within the budget I have to work with, I try to recruit. Many of my people come from the jail or dispatch or admin. They petition to go to the academy. They come back and work for the streets for a while. The people that leave, many of them, and I'm going to say the vast majority of them, there's some sitting out in this audience here, have gone on to better things. I like to think I had a little bit to help get them that goal. Some of them go to other agencies within a radius here, making an extremely large amount of money than I can pay. Some of them have left under, some people have left. Many people have left, and I'm proud of them because they've gone to DPS, Magnolia PD, Montgomery PD, College Station PD, Bryan PD, Harris County Sheriff's Office, just to name a few, Houston Police Department. Some of them promoted within here to become a constable elected, or they want to pursue a career within the Grimes County. It is tough to keep somebody as young, has opportunities to stay here when they can go up the road and make about a substantial amount of money more. I feel for them. I wish them well. Many of them, most of them that asked me, I certainly have wrote them a letter of recommendation and did my best to get them hired. It's bittersweet to see your good folks leave for another reason is money. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Donnelly, same question.
Well, first of all, I left, and it wasn't for money. I don't have to work for a living, so I'm very comfortable. So I'm not doing this for the money, the prestige, the legacy, or anything else. I'm doing it because deputies and citizens asked me to run and bring leadership. And I have that leadership in the field of battle, not just on the street. I mean, I've been in leadership positions on the street, but I went to war twice and took people into battle, and I didn't make them go by themselves. I went with them. So, I mean, it's all about the leadership. It's not the money. So I guarantee you, I did not get rich going back in the military. They pay nothing, but those guys loved what they did, even though they might die at any minute or be seriously injured or maimed. We did it because we were protecting the citizens and this country. Now, did the government fail us? Yeah, it did. So, but we still did it, and I would do it again. Unfortunately, I'm aged out of the military. I stayed until the last minute, 21 years. But I had breaks and went in and went out. 3 different branches of the military, 2 different wars. And people followed me everywhere I went, and I went with them. So I've watched people die. I've watched people be maimed, mentally have problems, but it's not the money. People keep saying the money. 2 articles this morning. $113,000 starting pay with a $13,000 sign-on bonus, and they can't get anybody to come to work? You tell me what the issue is. It's not the money, it's the leadership.
Thank you, sir. We'll start with Sheriff Sowell on the next question. This will be for a 2-minute response. Please tell us about your proudest professional moment. Describe a professional failure you've had. What happened and what did you learn from that experience?
Having served 54 years combined in the law enforcement field, I've seen a lot of proud moments. I think the proudest moment is not ever having to, in Grimes County so far, tell the spouse that their deputy did not come home that night for a reason. It's a divine intervention. I'm a Christian, conservative, and I just think, I pray a lot that these boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, have a tour of duty that is safe. Sadness in a career is when you cannot achieve your goal by talking that person out of committing suicide, talking that person out of making the wrong choices. I think I look at that as, what did I do to fail? But I also try to say, people they make choices, and I try to help people make good choices, and I feel like somewhere in those 54 years, maybe I affected somebody to be a better person, not make that cross between bad and good, and just think about what you're trying to do in your life, young man, young lady. I work the streets, drive a marked unit, people flag me down, I answer calls. I see people many times in harm's way of their psychosis. A lot of mental issues going on with our country, in our state, and the reason. Sometimes trying to talk these people into turning your life around a little bit. It may not be famous, it may not make the news, but I think if you can get somebody to turn around their life in a positive way, to me that is success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Donnelly, same question, sir. Please tell us about your proudest professional moment. Describe a professional failure of yours. What happened and what did you learn from that experience?
Well, as far as failure goes, I think my failure was I didn't do this when I was younger. I waited to do it. Failures, everybody has failures. We've all failed somewhere down the line. As far as greatest accomplishments, I've saved some lives. I brought all my people home from combat. Every time I lost somebody in a combat zone, it wasn't one of my people. It was somebody else's. So I brought them all home. As far as what I've done, I've made huge drug busts. I've handled some very serious criminals. T. Cullen Davis, The Animal, David Ruiz. I've dealt with them all. I've done it all. I should have done this years ago, but in reality, I moved to Grimes County to retire for the last time, the third time. And here I am again, doing it again. Pinned a badge on again. Now I carry my commission to Todd Mission. I was at the sheriff's office, but I left for the leadership. But other than that, I can't think of anything that I feel like I failed at. Nobody's ever committed suicide on my watch. I've talked people out of it. I've turned kids around. I've talked to adults. I talked to the PTO and the PTA in the Woodlands. Got people to recognize their kids were on drugs or alcohol. Got that turned around. Got them the help they needed. So, like I said, I basically moved to your wonderful county, mine now, to retire. To a small ranch, play with my cows, and go on vacation or cruises all the time. But there was a need, and as I've always been, when there's a need, I'll step up and fix that need, or try to.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Rawls, same question to you, sir.
So I think everybody sitting up here has had proud professional moments. I've had several of them. Saving lives out of fiery rollover car crashes, saving guys with mental health crisis, talking them off the ledge. There's a bunch of those. I've had the privilege of being in crime scene and putting away pedophiles, murderers, all sorts of people. I don't see failures in my career. What I see is an opportunity for training. Everybody needs to learn. Everybody needs to be taught and how to do a better job in this career. And I don't believe everybody should be punished for wrongdoing. As far as a policy violation, I think policy violations are teachable moments. I know we've had some incidents, both in all agencies that I've worked with Harris County and Waller County. And I look forward to being that leader who teaches, guides, and trains our future deputies and our current ones through the experience that I've already had, an enjoyable career. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Donnelly, we'll begin with you on this question with a 2-minute response. In the past few years, we've seen sheriffs across the country refuse to enforce laws that they believe to be illegal. Do you believe this is appropriate? And if so, in what type of cases would you do so?
If it's not in the book, the good book, the penal code, and the CCP, I'm not going to enforce it. Because to me, it's not deemed by the legislators as a law, so it doesn't need to be enforced. And I think part of that is people worried about coming and getting your guns. I'll be standing right there with you, because they ain't taking mine. And I'm not going to let them take yours. If you have a right to carry that gun, you're going to carry it. And I'll be right there to support you 100%. It's like I said, if it's not in the book, it's not a law, it's not enforceable. And I don't think the DA is going to take it if it's not in the penal code. So that's the bottom line there. Keep your guns. We'll be standing together when you know what hits the fan.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Rawls, same question, or I can repeat it if need be.
Go ahead.
In the past few years, we've seen sheriffs across the country refuse to enforce laws that they believe to be illegal. Do you believe this is appropriate? And if so, in what type of cases would you do so?
I absolutely believe it's appropriate. And I guarantee this question is coming from the federal gun grab that our federal government has mentioned multiple times about taking your 30-round magazines and your AR-style rifles. And I can tell you, I believe in the Constitution, I believe in your Second Amendment right, and I too will stand next to you and defend this county and this country.
Thank you very much. Sheriff Sowell, same question to you, sir.
Sheriffs all over the country, the 254 in Texas, the 200 or so around the country, do not have the authority to pick and choose laws. I want to make that crystal clear. What I do believe strongly in is I'm not going to have the federal government try to come in and pull a Ruby Ridge or a Waco in Grimes County, Texas. I will try my best to make sure that doesn't happen over my dead body when they pull something like that. I will stand, like my colleague said, I'll stand with you against your violation of your Second Amendment rights. But the one thing I do, and I try to use, is a lot of common sense. I seek advice. I will call the county and district attorney, which I do a lot. I'll call the Texas Association of County Legal, which I do a lot. I put their wisdom. I don't make the laws, I enforce them. My colleagues just said that. But you don't have a rogue position here, Sheriff of Grimes County, Texas, or any county in Texas or around the country. You do not have that right. You better use your wisdom. You better use your consultation with your attorneys wisely before you go out there and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I think it's wrong for some sheriffs to go out there and become, let's say, a prima donna for news media purposes. You better seek advice on how you enforce the law. That's what you are, a peacemaker. You're a peace officer. You're a peacemaker. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Rawls, we'll begin with you on this question. It'll be a 1-minute response. What is your position on high-speed rail? And as sheriff, would you continue involvement with the Sheriff's Coalition? Why or why not?
I am absolutely against this high-speed rail. And yes, I will stand with the Sheriff's Coalition who are currently battling the high-speed rail. I will stand with you. I don't want to see our Grimes County farmers and ranchers have their land divided, severed. And I don't know if anybody in here knows what kind of madness that a high-speed rail would bring to this county. You talk about a struggle with law enforcement and EMS. I will stand and fight with every citizen in this county against that high-speed rail. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sheriff Sowell, will come down to you now. What is your position on high-speed rail? And as sheriff, would you continue involvement with the Sheriff's Coalition? Why or why not?
Absolutely, I will serve and continue to serve with the colleagues on the 8 counties along the route. I helped form this Sheriff's Coalition in 2018, February 14th, matter of fact, in Centerville, Texas, with 8 sheriffs along this route. Boulder County all the way to Ellis County. We talked together and we found we had the same common denominator, same problem. That the high-speed rail was bad, number one, but what affected us was the way these landmen, representatives of the Texas Central Rail and the Federal Rail Administration, tried to bully our citizens, hoodwink them, take advantage of the sick, elderly, or the non-informed. It was like almost Gestapo tactics. We had our colleagues, I called our colleagues, our team did, from Harris County and Dallas County. They would not join us. But we've stayed as a team since 2018. Yes, yes, and yes, I will stay and fight to Texas against high-speed rail.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Donnelly, same question to you, sir.
It's a no-go for me. I don't know if y'all know it, the high-speed rail is owned by Japan, not the United States. And I posted that they would eventually come up and say, we don't have enough money to finish, but it's a good thing, and go to the federal government. Guess what? They went to the federal government. Now $18 billion has been allocated to help finish the high-speed rail. Japan's the only one that profits from it, not us. But we do have one stop that's supposed to go in Bedice. And with metro, high-speed rail, any transportation like that, there's one thing that comes with it: crime. We've actually arrested people on a metro bus who did a robbery and got back on the bus to go home. So, no, I don't want it here. I want it gone, completely gone.
Thank you. Sheriff Sowell, you'll begin the next question answer. 1 minute responses. This is a multi-part question. During your career in law enforcement, have you ever had a grievance or civil rights violation filed against you? Have you ever stepped down, been demoted, or removed from a position? Or have you ever been put on a Brady list? If yes, please explain.
No.
That was a quick answer. All right, Mr. Donnelly, the same question to you, sir.
No, never been demoted, never had a civil rights case filed on me. I've had a couple of writs in the jail, one from David Ruiz's writ writer after he stabbed me. Other than that, no, I've gone up the ladder, not down the ladder.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Rawls.
I have not either. Despite some of the rumors that have gone around about a property room audit that happened in Waller County, I'm going to dispel that right now. We handled over 5,000 pieces of evidence. We disposed of 1,400 items of evidence according to state rules of evidence. We hired an outside auditing agency, paid them good money. They assisted me for 10 days straight. We unfortunately, during the shuffle and the audit, found 2 items of evidence that came up missing. Now let me tell you why that could have been. Because we inherited 50 years of evidence at Waller County that was stored in Connex boxes that were not climate controlled. There was missing labels, unreadable packaging, torn labels, the whole gamut of evidence that we had to deal with. All this occurred right about the time that I was ready to start my political aspirations and come serve you as the next sheriff of Grimes County. I chose to transfer to Livestock and Animal Control Division. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Donnelly, we'll begin with you here. 1 minute response time. Do you consider law enforcement to be a field best served by men? And if elected sheriff, would you hire qualified female officers to positions of authority in the sheriff's office?
Absolutely. I flew helicopters for the Army. There were female pilots. I served in combat. Our security team for EOD, a lot of it was female. The captain in charge of our security was female. There are lots of females out there. I worked with Harris County deputies that were female that I wouldn't have gone into a dark alley with. So, no, there are plenty of qualified females out there. Like I said, my daughter's a chief prosecutor. My wife's an attorney. So females are just as qualified as male. Now, are they always as strong as males? Not necessarily, but I've seen females take on a male and leave him laying in the dust. So no, I have no problems with females. I am a feminist, not a misogynist.
Thank you. Mr. Rawls, same question, sir.
I will answer in a similar fashion. I can tell you I've worked with multiple females that I would rather work with than some men in these cases. I've worked with females. One example, she held her own. All of us men that were trying to get to her in a disturbance, she had to fight with somebody for 5 minutes. And that's a long time to be in a fight. She got that situation under control and handled. Also, I've been under great female leadership at Harris County. I would love to work under that captain again, given the opportunity. I would actually love to have her come over here to Grimes County and help serve. She is that good. So I agree, there are many good females in law enforcement, and I am not against promoting any of them, as long as they're qualified.
Thank you. And Sheriff Sal? Same question, sir. Do you consider law enforcement to be a field best served by men? And if elected sheriff, would you hire qualified female officers to positions of authority at the sheriff's office?
To answer your first question, no. Second, men, that's not a qualification. That you have to be fair to all people, races, gender, religion, blah, blah, and blah, et cetera. So I'm not going to go into that. And I say that with a little bit of humor, don't take it out of context. You hire people that are human beings that are qualified to do a job, whether it's law enforcement or firefighters or corporate world. You should not be discriminatory, period. And I don't believe I ever have been, and I have an open heart to, if you want to do the job, you can. Well, buck up, buttercup, come on to work. Or, don't hesitate to not serve as a peace officer, whatever your background is. Long answer, but I hope it's appropriate.
Sir, thank you very much. We'll go to Mr. Rawls to begin the next question, a 1-minute response. What experience and training do you have managing a budget capable of maintaining the sheriff's office, fleet management, fuel, county jail, courthouse secretary, inmate medical, and inmate commissary?
Well, that's management over a lot of stuff. We manage our gas cards, we manage our budgets. I've been with several departments. I've only been a part of that for a little bit. I'm always looking to learn all of that stuff. You're never too old to learn anything. And like I said, I look forward to learning all those different spots. I have managed several of those that you mentioned. And I look forward to being the leader and the sheriff that oversees the budget, oversees the courts, oversees all the things that a sheriff does, public safety, court security, and everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Sheriff Sal, you have the next response, sir. What experience and training do you have managing a budget capable of maintaining the sheriff's office, fleet management, fuel, county jail, courthouse security, inmate medical, and inmate commissary?
As sheriff, you oversee everything that's under your command, your responsibility. Now, believe me, that means budget. I've been a good steward of your money. I hire good people to oversee the jail. The jail is one of the biggest expenses and liabilities and responsibilities of any sitting sheriff that has a jail. Maintenance, gasoline, uniforms, whatever it takes to run the sheriff's office, it's your responsibility. You hire good people to work not only within your agency, but to work with the treasurer, work with the county auditor, work with the commissioner's court, as a court or individually. Talk to them, get them to walk you through what you need, what you can get, and but it takes a lot of teamwork to be able to manage your budget. A lot of money has to flow to run the inmate commissary, to run patrol, and everything in between. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Donnelly, same question, sir.
Really haven't been in the commissary. I mean, I had to collect inmates' monies and funds and put them in the commissary and see their food distribution, but as far as that goes, no. As far as budget goes, I have to manage a ranch, my own budget. That's why I don't have to work for a living. But also in the military, I was responsible for top secret equipment, the money to finance them, use them, maintain them, fix them, the fuel for multi-million-dollar vehicles, that all had to be accounted for. I had to keep the books. When I was taking care of robots, I had to maintain all the parts that had to be replaced, unfortunately, they got blown up all the time, so they had to be repaired. So I've had that experience as far as budgets go, and I've had to live within the budget that the Pentagon gave me.
Thank you, sir. Back to Sheriff Sowell. If elected, how should we measure your success in office in a year or two?
If reelected, I will continue, as I have in the past quarter of a century, to serve you with dignity, responsibility. How much time?
1 minute.
1 minute. Accountability. Sheriffs are elected by the people to serve them, whether it's a large county like Harris or a small county like Loving or anywhere in between. But I want people to judge me not only a year from now, but today, tonight, tomorrow, whenever. I'm judged every day. My phone's always available. I'm an accountable sheriff. I'm an accessible sheriff. Am I perfect? Oh, Lord, no. Do I try my best? Yes. Do I give my heart and soul to this job? Yes. And again, my constituents will judge me on progress we're trying to make, as we talked about today. The progress get ready for the growth that we're experiencing, an invasion on our border, the rail, and so many things. Thank you.
How should we measure your success in office in a year or two?
By the success. I mean, if I'm a failure, I'm a failure, but I don't plan on failing. I have not failed at anything so far. Give me time. I'm not perfect. I'm only human. So, but we're going to put more deputies on the street. I got some waiting to come. I got some of the old ones waiting to come back. So they just wanted change in leadership. It's not the money issue. I plan on bringing people in that are not looking for the money, like me. I'm not looking for any money. Just looking to protect the county that I live in, as well as you. As far as being accessible, you'll be able to call me. I might even answer your call. You call for the sheriff department, you may end up with the sheriff. So I'll be there for you. My success will be this county coming up to the 21st century and beyond.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ross.
Yes, you can measure my success by the opinion of the citizens of Grimes County who I'm listening to. They have given me lots of cares and concerns. I plan on working diligently to become that frontline leader that will change the staffing, boost morale, and improve this county and make this a safer place to live.
All right, you can hang on to that microphone, Mr. Rawls. 2 minutes for your closing statement, sir.
Well, I would just like to say thank you, everybody, for coming out and listening to all the constituents up here. Sheriff candidates up here, taking the time out of your day, especially with the temperatures and all the things going on weather-wise. Most importantly, I look forward to being that proactive sheriff and changing the leadership here in this county that's desperately needed. I look forward to bringing that proactive approach, like I said, improving response times, getting funding, staffing, and better serving you as the next sheriff of Grimes County. I look forward to securing your vote March 5th, 2024. It's time for change. You can reach me at the World Wide Web at electtravisrawls.com, or you can reach me on Facebook at Travis Rawls for Grimes County Sheriff. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, sir. 2 minutes, Mr. Donnelly.
All I can say is my signs, my campaign signs say proactive. I've always been proactive. I always go looking for it. Maybe that's the Marine in me. I always go looking for it. In Iraq, we didn't wait for bombs to go off. We went out looking for them and disrupted them before they could kill somebody. I'm a firm believer in get out there and look for it. It's out there. If you look for it, you'll find it. If you're looking for a bad guy, you'll find him. You just got to go look for him. And the way we do that is get more people on the street. We get some of the deputies that you all know back in this county working. They know you, they know the county, they know the bad guys in the county, they went to school with them, they know them. We got to get them back in here because they'll see them on the street, they'll be proactive, they'll stop them for some type of traffic offense. The average person can't go 6 blocks without breaking the traffic law. That's how we start getting things done. As far as me, I'll be out there. I'll be on the street. You want to talk to me, you call dispatch and say, I want to talk to the sheriff. I'll come to you. You don't have to come to me. And we'll talk. We'll get your concerns. I have a lot of your concerns already, some of your ideas already. Some of them I agree with and we need to do them. But we're going to get the equipment that needs to be out here for these deputies to do their jobs. We are operating very slim. I drive part-time for Sterling, which is where the sheriff's cars and the DPS cars come to get fixed. I know what's going on with those cars. I talk to those mechanics every time I'm up there making a drive for Sterling. So I get it. Just call me. Same thing. I have 2 Facebook pages. You can come to my personal page, say whatever you want to say, put whatever you want on there. Everybody does.
Thank you, sir. Sheriff Sal, 2 minutes for you, sir.
Well, thank you all again for taking time on this cycle of Americana, our democracy of letting the constituents pick their representatives, whether all the contestants here today that took the time to come out. Summing up, I'm a people's sheriff. I'm here. I'm available. I don't need a Facebook page. I don't need. My phone rings. Most everybody has my cell number. Or if they don't have it, they can get it. Dispatch has strict instructions to give it out. I sit on prisoners. I answer calls. I direct traffic. I go run errands for them when they're out on a traffic accident. I do it all. But also the main thing is I serve you, the people. I serve the people that are children at school, senior citizens at homebound or nursing home. Illegal aliens, I'm still their sheriff. I may not agree with everything about the situation, but I'm their sheriff. I'm the people's sheriff. You can't say you're going to do everything if you don't have a heart in what you do, whether it's constable, police officer, federal agency, firefighters, emergency, EMS people. You have to have a passion to do what you do. And it's not about, I've heard them say money before. Yeah, money's a factor, but also you have to have a passion about serving the people that elect you in a position like state representative, county attorney, or sheriff, or whoever. If you're doing it for glory, you're in the wrong business. You're going to have downs and ups. You're going to have sadness. It's heartbreaking sometimes. But the best part of it is satisfaction of knowing your citizens, knowing the new ones coming in, giving them your best. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you to all 3 of you.
Stepped on my coat.
Enjoyed it, Don.
Coach too long for my short lived.
All right. I hope everybody has enjoyed this evening. I'm going to go out on a limb and tell you that the folks running for office would love to talk to you. And we appreciate everybody coming. If you need to register to vote, go right here. We've got Reagan tickets right over here. We have a new office in downtown Anderson where you can pick up your signs if you'd like. Our next forum is Thursday at 6 o'clock, and that will be for commissioners and constables.